Where are we at now with faith in our institutions? What did we get for that? Do conservatives look at Biden and go, well, Merrick Garland did appoint the special prosecutor to look into Biden, and he allowed the bullshit investigation into Hunter Biden to continue under his own presidency. So, yeah, we have faith in the FBI and the DOJ, right? Did that happen?
No, it's just like he might as well have appointed a pit bull.
Exactly.
It's going to be the end result.
Yeah. What the
It's pretty disappointing. So you agree that Biden was weak in some respects?
I respect what he tried to do.
Okay.
I think that Biden was a better man than I would have been in that situation.
Yeah, so that's a couple of the left's biggest superstars at the moment, Destiny and Adam Mockler, going over Democratic and Republican strategy. And we're going to go over the rest of the segment here.
And, sometimes I think that for as much of an idiot Trump is, he did kind of roll the Democratic Party twice. And honestly, 2020 was kind of an outlier. Like Biden won by what was it, 11,000 votes in Georgia or whatever, and that was mainly due to the pandemic. Yeah, so like for as much of an idiot Trump is, he kind of does out-strategize us.
No, he doesn't.
You don't think so?
He's just a good guy in the right place at the right time, I think. The Republicans as a whole have been working really hard to build the advantages that they enjoy now.
But so here's a few things. I remember in 2016, Rachel Maddow did this. I got Trump's tax returns. I finally got the tax returns.
And it was like pages of a 1040 from like 2011.
2005. And he actually paid, I think, 40 million on like 170 million. So like it was actually in his favor. And there are now theories that Trump's team released that. So maybe this isn't Trump. Maybe his team knows how to outplay the media. But then that undermines the credibility of the media. And also, when we call him a felon over and over and over, we thought that was like a really good own. He's a fucking felon. That actually plays in favor of him because his whole thing is these institutions are going to start targeting me. The institutions are going to begin to target you. I'm just standing in the way. They're all corrupt. All these corrupt institutions don't want me back in the presidency. So when we say that he's a felon, it's almost like we're marketing for him. And I'm not saying that he's some like 40 chess master.
That's not a 40 chess master.
It's just like
that's like saying that would be like me saying like, guys, after this vacation I take in Cancun, all of my haters are going to call me a murderer and a rapist. And then I go to Cancun and I like murder, rape a bunch of people and I come back and it's like, look at what they're saying. And then you're like, God, Destiny's like he's actually like a political mastermind. Like, how is he able to maneuver? It's like, no, that's not being a political mastermind. The real mastery that conservatives have done, and Trump doesn't get credit for this, the real mastery that conservatives have done is conservatives have done a really good job at casting themselves as the villain and like the victor simultaneously at all points in time. They're so good at occupying both of these roles. And somehow the the centrist people got like sucked into this. And now you've got these Silicon Valley people that are all worshiping Trump. And then you've got all these like the UFC people and the MMA people and all the athletic people, and then like all these different communities somehow all got sucked into the anti-woke communities, and it's just super cringe because now you're in this world where the right will always suck them off, the centrists will always suck them off, and then the left is like so scared of being called Trump derangement syndrome that they won't be critical of him. And
I think those are all excellent points. That one, Donald Trump is not some strategic genius. He's like a single-digit IQ scumbag who couldn't negotiate $1 off of an item at a yard sale. Like, Donald Trump is not some politically intelligent and strategic mastermind. He's a guy who was in the right place at the right time by essentially being shameless and brazen enough to position himself against the establishment and institutions as a victim and an underdog. And he's won twice now and has the dogmatic loyalty that he has because that's his appeal, right? Sow distrust in every other major institution, silence and dogmatically destroy and ostracize any dissenting opinion so that all trust and all information is being filtered directly through Donald Trump.
Hey guys, before we continue, if you like the content and want to see more of it, please consider liking and subscribing. It's a huge help to me, my content, and the growth of my platform.
Like the final example, like whenever people say like, look at how bad the mainstream media is, they don't mean the mainstream media. They just mean CNN and MSNBC. You've never in your life heard one of these centrists, one of these like losers on their knees with a cocksuck collar like Joe Rogan. You've never seen one of these guys ever say the mainstream media is just in a horrible state right now. Did you see what happened on Fox News? You don't say this. It's always CNN and MSNBC. So these guys.
So that being said,
and that's really part of the media strategy from not so much Trump, but like his team or the people that surround him. The idea is to outsource and discriminate against any potential idea that might conflict with the running narrative one. This is what we call an echo chamber, and it's how cults function. You paint yourself as the victims, you downplay and ostracize and remove any potential dissenting opinions so that the only voices that are being heard from this media, that are being heard in this media apparatus, are from the right. And that's how you capture centrist dipshits like Joe Rogan or Lex Friedman or any of these other moderate types who feed into actively every single buzzword and talking point that Donald Trump wants them to hear and wants them to speak out of their mouths, because they never hear from the other side, right? They never have any real challenging discussions, right? That's why Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson only ever debate college students, right? They never want to have a discussion with a real well-rounded pundit that's actually going to challenge their ideas. It's because if they do, they know their media bubble will be pierced, and then the illusion shatters, and they actually have to confront some of the wrongdoing that happens on their own side.
What approach, I'm going to put you on the spot like you were interviewing the DNC chair people. I didn't get to watch many of those, but I'm assuming you guys talked about this. What approach should the party take over the next few years to make sure we're effective? I feel like we don't have a punch right now.
We need way more slurs.
More slurs?
Absolutely.
Like, are you being like ironic or unironic? Like, if we
half ironic.
You think that if we had a candidate who said,
I think that if Kamala Harris would have called Trump the N-word on stage, I think he would have called her the N-word. I think that would have been her pop-off moment.
Yeah.
He absolutely would have lost his mind.
But like, actually,
he could get away with it too, so it would be fine. That would have just been perfect.
He was close during that Black Journalist Conference. He was close. Did you read that Washington Post article where after the debate with Biden, Trump was on his plane and he wanted to tweet out, "My new nickname is Retard Joe Biden." Retarded Joe. Did you read that article? And then Susie Wiles and Chris LaSavita, his campaign managers and stuff, had to like reel him in basically and be like, "Hey, dude, you just had a huge win." Trump is just like innately drawn towards chaos, it feels
and
like,
conflict
sometimes.
And ego. He's fragile. Yeah.
So he wanted to call him Retard Joe Biden. Honestly,
yeah. Again, that's another perfect example of Donald Trump not being a brilliant strategist or negotiator, right? He has a huge fragile ego, but what he's good at is he's good at surrounding himself with people who are dogmatic and loyal and who are smart enough to essentially paint his actions as not crazy or insane, or prevent him from doing something crazy or insane. We saw this happen with JD Vance recently, who painted Donald Trump and Brendan Carr's threats against Jimmy Kimmel as pretty much just a joke, right? Because Donald Trump is an actual fascistic, authoritarian idiot, but JD Vance is so much scarier because he's actually politically intelligent.
I think he still would have won.
It wouldn't have mattered. There's nothing that, because we all view it from the thing too that's like hard is because we're playing with such different standards. Is it like Trump can fail infinitely because to us it's like abhorrent, but to the other side it's literally fucking epic and hilarious every single time. Like if Trump were to accidentally push the wrong button when he was ordering like his daily Diet Coke or whatever, or his daily blowjob from any of the tech giants that now are on their knees for him daily, and he would accidentally like shoot a missile at some like city in Iowa, it would be fucking epic and hilarious.
Yeah.
That would just be it. They would literally all laugh. There's like nothing that Trump can do. Here's like a good question. Do you still go out and do these interviews?
Yeah, that's another good point. Donald Trump is simultaneously this great master negotiator, and he's a real political strategist and thinker, right? He's an actual genius. You know, we should take him far more serious than Kamala Harris, who's never had any political achievements in her entire career. But we can never take anything that Donald Trump ever says seriously. We can never take any of his actions or failures seriously, right? Because it's just lay epic based memes. And that is a perfect example of doublethink that happens on the MAGA right.
With people?
Yeah.
This is a good question. If it doesn't get you on any FBI lists, you would ask a conservative, is there any way that Donald Trump could die where you wouldn't think it was a conspiracy? I bet they wouldn't be able to list a single way.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
If he had a heart attack, would you think he really did?
Yeah.
If he got in a car accident, if he got shot, obviously not. That's conspiracy, right? If his plane crashed, no way. That's conspiracy. There's no way that Donald Trump could die where it wouldn't be a conspiracy.
Yeah, and it's something like that where if Donald Trump were to die of even natural causes, right, everyone in his base would assume that it was foul play. And that's, like I said, part of the filtering and funneling all trust through Donald Trump that I was talking about earlier. If you can't trust institutions, if you can't trust normalcy, then there's never going to be just a regular idea. Nothing can ever be just reality on your side. Everything has to be a conspiracy.
But like unironically, beyond slurs, beyond just hurling slurs at the other side, what do you think the strategy should be? Like if you were an advisor.
I think some of it is, so I feel like all the worlds have merged into one line. You ever watch Steins Gate?
No.
Fucking God, you're such a fucking zoomer.
I am
Fuck.
22. I don't know. This is old man stuff.
Okay, imagine there's like a Skibbity toilet episode.
No,
Okay.
that's okay. I'm imagining it. Yeah.
All the realities have merged, and I think all the advice for being like a good YouTuber, a good president, I think it's all the same. One thing that Trump does really well, okay, is he's like, he feels relatable, and that he doesn't feel like a stiff, like, if you listen to Kamala Harris talk, she sounds like Vosh.
Yeah.
Well, it almost sounds like sometimes like everything is like, I want it to be a quote that's going to be written down in a history book. I've seen Kamala do, I wish I remember what, but I've seen her do like interviews where she's like more loose, and she's actually a million times more personable.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she, like, whoever her advisors were, also with Tim Walz, when they brought him in, he was supposed to be this relatable dude, and they kind of just like canned him in a way where he had to continue doing the same few lines over and over. Just they told him to stop doing the couch thing. It's just, you want to know something interesting? I feel like I cut you off, but I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
While I was flying here, I was listening to Ezra Klein's new podcast. I don't listen to him much, but it's like all about attention within the Democratic Party and how the Republicans have found out how to dominate attention, the attention of the public.
Yeah, this is what this is what I was gonna, going into the having like more personal people. The second thing I was gonna say, like one of the things that helps me so much is streaming. And if you do regular video content, because it keeps you at the forefront of everybody's mind, and you can push through things, and you can keep being relevant, and you're always going to be making better career steps because you're getting live feedback for everything that you're doing, so you can see in real time how people feel about everything. And Trump is so good at being on Twitter and all that shit all the time that he's
Yeah, another part that plays into that idea of Donald Trump just being the right guy at the right time, or the wrong guy at the wrong time, depending on how you look at it. You know, he's not politically intelligent. He's an egotistical lunatic. So of course he's drawn to social media because he's an attention whore, right? That's his entire online presence. That's his entire life. That's his entire legacy, is being an attention whore, right? The billionaire playboy from New York who's constantly getting into drama and controversy, who's constantly flashing on the news headlines, right? Like that's his history. That's who he is. And that's why he was so effectively able to take advantage of this current media environment that we're living in that rewards heavily that desperate need for attention.
Always in people's minds, and people are always talking about him. So you need somebody that's going to be, I don't want to say bombastic, but at least somebody that's a little bit more present like that. AOC was for a while.
Yeah. Have you seen the photo of Trump and Obama sitting next to each other? I think I saw this on your Reddit. There was a line going across, and they have the same exact skin tone now, because Trump is literally just a brown. But
I have not seen that,
but yeah, okay. Regarding attention, they were saying that like the interesting thing about Elon Musk isn't even his wealth anymore. I mean, of course that's interesting, but it's the amount of attention he controls on a day-to-day basis by owning Twitter.
Yeah.
And that Democrats, we don't have anyone like
Elon Musk is another example of a right-wing attention whore.
that. Like AOC, I think, is the closest thing we have to somebody who's incredibly just like charismatic. You listen when she's speaking, but other than that, we've got a lot of old politicians and the right, and like all of Trump's cabinet, which is full of TV personalities. Pete Hegseth, he plucked off of Fox News. I'm pretty sure Dr. Oz has a position. All these people.
He does. Oz is going to be the head of the FDA.
Oh, great. I wouldn't want anywhere else, to be honest. But like, they're so good at controlling the attention of the public. And we're about to live in like a propaganda society, aren't we? We already do, but like
we already do.
It's about to get bad.
Yeah. It was really bad when Elon Musk was allowed to buy X and then use it to support a single candidate. But
yeah, but we couldn't telegraph that before. Like, we didn't see 2 years ago that he was actually, like you were just saying, like he was tweeting out, oh, I want to make both sides mad. And yes, it was clearly nefarious and clearly not something that should happen, but nobody knew he would go full-throated MAGA, like full-throated.
The issue is because we've allowed conservatives to lie so much and for so long that they can get away with doing anything because they're just going to say that the Democrats did it first.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. They say with Elon Musk, like, oh, well, you know, the Democrats are already doing this. If anybody does anything horrible, then the response is always like, oh, what? Like if you say like, Donald Trump is going to kill half of America, and they'll be like, oh, what, like Biden already did? Like Obama?
Yep, absolutely correct. And we saw this in the Adam Mockler debate that I just covered on CNN the other day, right? Where the MAGA pundits or the MAGA opponents in that debate panel who were justifying Donald Trump weaponizing the DOJ against people like Letitia James or James Comey because Joe Biden did it first, right? Even though that was completely untrue. And we went over all of that in that video. I'll link it here so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But it's absolutely crazy that the right can just rewrite history so much to justify any retarded bullshit that they want to pull.
Already did,
Yeah.
like the Democrats already did. So he's literally free to do anything. They say that when it comes to Kash Patel and all the potential investigations that could happen and everything. Like, oh well, you know, you guys already did lawfare, and it's like, okay.
Are you saying Obama didn't genocide half of America? Are you trying to whitewash that?
With no trial,
Yeah.
Obama genocided innocent American lives.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Tim Pool
Where's
talking
Tim
point.
Pool? Yeah.
No.
It was absolutely fucking disgusting. Thank God we have those brave people that still protect American freedoms, like those 3 guys that stopped that horrible burglar Ahmed Arbery,
Mm-hmm.
who was trying to break into that house.
I'm so glad they shot.
Thank
They had to
God.
shoot him in the back. That's
Those
how
3.
out of control he was. Yeah.
Did they really shoot him in the back?
I think they did shoot him in the back, right?
After he fought, they were fighting over a shotgun, and then he got the
Oh,
Ahmed got shot. But I don't know if they shot him.
maybe I'm just using lib talking points now.
You probably are.
But
You could live retarded.
yeah, saw it on Twitter.
Probably.
Average Elon Musk post. But like, yeah, dude, we got to hold them accountable. And you know, I feel like that's just a platitude that we say a lot. Oh, they need to be held accountable. But how do we hold them accountable, Republicans? Other than just like making content. I make a bunch of videos a day, but how do we hold Republicans accountable for their lies or flip
I'll
flop?
tell you how do we hold them accountable, but it's gonna be when we're on Kick later. I can't say it on YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
The realistic non-doomered version is the Democrats have 2 years to get their shit in line right now because we're not governing anything. We don't have any Congress and no executive branch. So the Democrats have 2 years to kind of get their shit in line. Usually incumbent parties lose their midterms, right?
Yeah.
Incumbent lose their midterms, right? Or the party in power usually loses the midterms. So
Yeah.
we have an opportunity to do really well in the midterms. Trump has 2 years. Oh, one thing from the media perspective is like there has to be a careful tracking of and accounting of all of the promises that Trump made and absolutely will not keep. Here's another good question for conservatives. They won't have an answer, but ask a conservative, what could Trump do that would be like too far for you or not okay for you? Because the deficit's not going down. The debt's absolutely not going down, right? We are going to continue to deficit spend. Trump wants.
That's true. The deficit and the just exploded with that big beautiful bill budget that they just posed.
To extend the tax cuts. He's not going to pair that with any spending cuts.
prices are going down, right?
Nope, that's not going to happen. Elon lied about finding $2 trillion in spending.
Yeah.
Now he cut it down to $1 trillion in spending. It's going to be.
Yep, it went down to 1 trillion, and then I think 100 million, but most of that wasn't congressionally approved. So a lot of it was just blockages to spending until Congress approved it. And then when Congress eventually did end up reviewing all of the funding that they had tried to cut, they only cut only about 9 billion worth. And then Elon Musk and Donald Trump had a very, very public falling out where Elon called him a pedophile. I made a couple of videos on it. I'll shamelessly plug those here. The current administration is just a complete and utter failure on every single level. It's actually kind of sad.
No trillion in spending because they want to increase the largest line item in our discretionary budget, which is the military. They're talking about huge increases for the military. So all of that was a lie.
Yeah.
No wars. I guess that was just a funny meme. That was a lie. I know it's like a joke now, but I really do feel like historically it is
Russia.
absolutely fucking insane that Donald Trump is joking. See, I did it. He's not joking. That Donald Trump is seriously threatening our allies, our NATO allies, with military action to conquer like fucking Greenland. That's unhinged and unbelievable.
The real blackpilling part was seeing how quickly conservatives fell in line. Like, yes, Matt Walsh was like maybe trolling when he was like, we could bloodlessly take Canada within a week. But then Ben Shapiro unironically went on a show and he was like, we should take the moon too. We were the first to the moon. Why wouldn't we take it? Then he starts like giggling a bit and he's like, we should take Greenland. It's not a joke. They're being dead ass.
But yeah, that's what I just said. Like Trump can do literally anything.
Yeah.
Like he could bomb a small town in Iowa and it's like, oh, maybe Superman should have saved them. Isn't that where he's from? Like it would just be a joke. Everything is a fucking joke.
It was a liberal town.
Meanwhile, I've got that picture seared into my mind the close up of Biden with the red flag with the red light behind him. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, clearly it was in
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Clearly
And
fascistic.
yeah, and people are like, oh my god, this is the worst. This
Again, that's another example of MAGA rewriting history to try and justify the rhetoric that happens on their own side, right? Well, Joe Biden said that he hated all Republicans, even though he never said that. He said that MAGA were terrorists, even though he never said that. He said that all of MAGA was a threat to democracy, even though he never said that. It's completely and utterly insane that the right is able to get away with so much just by playing whataboutism, right? The pointing fingers at the opposite side and saying, hey, you guys did this authoritarian thing first, so now it justifies our authoritarianism, is wholly and utterly fucking bonkers and corrupt. And it's the most illogical, like, retard, lack of critical thinking position to hold that any rational human being with a modicum of critical thought and self-reflection would realize is dumb as shit. And really that's the MO for all of MAGA. You know, there's just no accountability. It's so much apologia, it's so much sweeping and defense and lack of responsibility taken for their own side. We've seen this recently with all of the crazy, insane, inflammatory rhetoric coming after Charlie Kirk's death. We've seen it time and time again with all of the justifying of censorship. Well, Joe Biden censored us first, therefore we can fire Jimmy Kimmel. Or Joe Biden engaged in political lawfare, so we can, indict James Comey, or we can prosecute Letitia James for bullshit reasons. And that's why it's on us as Democrats to do everything in our power to motivate our own base and then also go on the offensive to attack and degrade and demoralize the right so that we end up with more political power in the future to prevent all of this craziness from continuing and destroying our country.